Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here today, my name is Odds, and we are going to be discussing Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I have some thoughts on this movie. They're not very good thoughts, so I will just get prefaced with that. If you are new here today, I would love for you to subscribe. I do 2 videos a week. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, beauty, vlogs, or something on this channel for everyone, so be sure to stay tuned for that. And if you like this video while you're watching, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up. I wrote a couple notes down. Let's start with that. I put the plot. So the plot of this movie is Cassie Lang, now played by Katherine Newton, has gone and created, with the help of Hank and Hope, a beacon for the quantum realm. Now, Janet is not very happy about this. She's like really worried that there's something down there, which we find out is Kang, that she doesn't want to be released into the regular universe. So Kang is trapped down in the quantum realm. She meets him. She doesn't realize that he's this bad guy because he comes off as charming and all this. He befriends her, and then it finds out that he has conquered and killed tons of people. His motivation for doing so is the fact that he sees how it ends. So he also knows He Who Remains from Loki, that variant, he knows how everything ends and is trying to get things from branching out. So he's trying to correct the multiverse, but really he's just conquering worlds, and it's just his explanation for doing so. So Scott, Cassie, Janet, Hank all get taken down to the quantum realm. They get sucked in. So yeah, there's a lot going on in here. So let's talk about MODOK. MODOK is in this Darren Cross, which we knew that was the case. Now there's images of MODOK going around online. You would think that it is not true. It's true. These images are real. They're so bad. Like, I know MODOK is a giant floating head, but, like, they could have made it a little bit better. I just feel like the effects team didn't know what to do, and that's not really on the effects team. They're just, you know, following orders, but they did not know what to do with this, and it shows. He looks much better when he has his little mask on, which I know that people don't like that because that's not MODOK, and they were concerned that he wouldn't be a giant floating head, but he is a giant floating head, and yeah. So MODOK does go through a redemption arc a little bit, kind of. I mean, he decides that he doesn't want to be fighting for Kang anymore. It's really not fleshed out very well. He just is trying to kill Cassie and then decides, and then gets beaten to a pulp and is like, oh, I want to be good. I mean, maybe that's what happens when, you know, really terrible people are on their deathbed and they may or may not get into heaven. I don't know. Maybe that's what that is. But yeah, he does get killed off in this, so there will be, unless we get a variant, there's going to be no MODOK going into the future, which is fine with me. MODOK's not really that big of a villain that they're pushing towards. I know MODOK did have his own animated show, and honest to God, I think that is where some of these characters thrive best, is in animation. I think some of these characters thrive best in comic books, and trying to put all this in live action maybe doesn't end up the way that they would hope. So let's talk about Kang the Conqueror. We get a little taste of him in this. I feel like it's not too much. You know, he's getting his own Avengers movie. But other than the first post-credit scene, like, we get a little taste of it. We get when Janet touches the, like, reactor, she sees flashbacks of Kang in his conquering days. And I think that is the best taste of Kang we get, because he just, I don't know, like, yes, he's powerful and he's doing all this, but at the end of the day, he gets defeated by a bunch of ants. Like, that is the end of the movie. He gets defeated by a bunch of ants. So I would have liked if he didn't get defeated and maybe he just came back. He escaped and this whole thing. If they didn't end on, they kind of end on a like chilling note that he's coming again, but I wish they would have ended on a more less happy note, you know. At the end of this, nobody dies, so there's no consequences as per frickin' usual. Hope and Scott look like they're gonna get trapped in the quantum realm, but then Cassie gets them out like 10 seconds later. So there's really no consequences of this. And I know that's people's complaint about Marvel in general, but at least with Endgame, there were consequences, you know. Steve goes back in time, Iron Man dies, like, it's a whole thing. I just wish we got to see more Kang in, like, a menacing way. We got to see more Flash. Maybe we'll see that in the next Avengers movie. But, you know, that's what I'm saying is, like, everything, and we're going to talk about that in a second, the fact that everything has to be connected, which is great. It's nice to have callbacks and Easter eggs for other things, but when you need to watch 10 shows and 15 movies to understand what's going on, it's kind of a problem. And I understand I made the exact opposite argument before Infinity War, because I was like, yeah, I was sipping the Marvel Kool-Aid, but I'm a little tired of it, if you cannot tell. I'm just tired of the BS. I'm really tired of the BS, and that's what's going on here. So there is a need to watch Loki before this. You'll understand it a little bit more if you watch Loki. I'm sure you can go into this and you'll be like, who the hell's Kang? And you'll kind of get an explanation for it, but kind of not really. But then when they bring out the multiverses, and then you're going to get really confused about branching timelines and all that stuff, especially the second post-credit scene, which Loki and Mobius show up. So you're going to get a little confused if you have not seen Loki. So Loki is an essential watch before this, which I could have told you that because there is a Kang variant in the end of Loki. But there's a big need to watch it, and that can be daunting. People don't know going in how many of these are going to have to watch. I watch every single thing, so I know the knowledge of stuff going out. I also have a knowledge of comic books. But for the average viewer, it might be a little bit hard to try to put all that stuff together. There is whether this is just an observation, not saying whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, there's a lack of Wasp in this. She is barely in this movie. I feel like Janet is really the second protagonist. Hope kind of just doesn't get much to do. She doesn't have many lines. But this is Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, not Ant-Man Quantumania. But and the Wasp is just like, they just shelved that. They don't care. I don't know if they edited this down after, I don't think so, after Evangeline Lilly went on her little conservative rant. I don't think they edited her down. I think this is just the cut of the film that they were going to go with ultimately. But she could literally not be in this film and it would be fine. Like, there's nothing really that she needs to be in this. She's kind of shoehorned in because the last movie was Ant-Man and the Wasp. And now this is like the sequel to both of them, so we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen with the Marvels, and they all get kind of equal playing time. Especially Carol, since initially it was supposed to be Captain Marvel 2, so we'll see. But I don't know. That movie was delayed, by the way, till November, so I think that's good. Hopefully it gives more time to the special effects teams and the editors to make a good movie versus just pumping out tons of content. Ultimately, I thought this movie was very lackluster, which is crazy, and it was kind of boring to me, and that's wild because there's so many interesting concepts that they have. I mean, Kang is great. I love Jonathan Majors. I like Paul Rudd a lot, but you know, I went in thinking that it wasn't going to be great, but I just wasn't entertained. Like, it didn't hold my attention the way some other stuff does. And we're talking about, you know, having a Marvel fatigue, and that's definitely true for me. But there are still things at Marvel I enjoy. I enjoyed Wakanda Forever. I enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So there are some shining gems through this, but this is just another one. Like, honestly, when the movie came out, I kind of enjoyed, like, Thor Love and Thunder was not a good movie, but it was enjoyable. And this one, I felt the opposite. I felt like it's not a good movie and it's not enjoyable. So there are things about it that I liked, and I did give it 2.5 stars, so it's not like the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not a glowing review. I mean, that's a good 50%, so you still fail. Not great. But I know people who went in and enjoyed this, so if you're still sipping the Marvel Kool-Aid, then you'll probably enjoy this. And if not, it's at least a setting off point for Avengers 5 and 6. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys thought of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania down below. As always, I'm in odds. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on Wednesday or Thursday with a new video. We'll see when that video goes up. Bye!